Now we are going to see the last class problem, and I am going to solve this on a whiteboard. Now you just see, I am going to see, already I have given you the single line diagram or one line diagram with all the specifications. Okay, so later for that single line diagram you are asked to draw the equivalent circuit diagram, right? Now I am going to draw the equivalent circuit diagram. Okay, you just go through this. I think last class we have seen up to this point, right? So this is generator 1, which is in series with so this is generator 2. So this is for double circuit line. And this is the total fault current. So you are asked to determine the total fault current IF that is flowing from the receiving end of this. That is flowing from the receiving end of this. Okay. So this is about the total fault current. So which is IF. So already we have determined that this is 1 at an angle 0. This is also 1 at an angle 0. This is J 0.15. And this is J 0.1. This is J 0.23. This is also J 0.23. See, basically it is a double circuit line, means for the two lines you will have the same equivalent resistance. Okay, and now this is J 0.2. This is J 0.2. Already we have determined all these things in the last class. So J 0.16. So this is step number 1. Okay, now finally we need to determine IF. Okay, so now in between this you will have different reactances, and we are going to determine the single reactance which is connected in series with the generator. Obviously then you will get the fault current. So in the next step we are going to reduce. Now you see here, so this is generator 1. This is generator 2. Okay, now again, so this is the parallel combination of, see, these two paths are parallel and these two paths are parallel. Okay, now these two are gets connected in series, right? So first of all, before going to proceed that, first you need to add these two. So 1 at an angle 0, and this is also 1 at an angle 0. Okay, now J 0.1 plus J 0.15, obviously you will get J 0.25. J 0.25. Okay, similarly, so J 0.2 plus J 0.16, obviously you will get J 0.36, right? So 36. Now what is the parallel combination of 0.3, 0.23 and 0.23? See, without calculators you cannot solve even a single problem in this particular subject. Please try to remember, maintain calculators. Okay, so this is J. So when you determine the parallel combination of 0.23 and this 0.23, you will get J 0.115. If you want, you can solve this also. 115. Right. Now, so this is IF. Step number 2 is this one. Now, obviously, the next step is uh, this you can consider it as single voltage source. Sorry. So 1 at an angle 0. This is a single voltage source. Okay. Now, which is connected. So now you find the parallel combination of this 0.25 and 0.36. Okay. Now that parallel combination is gets connected in series with the J 0.05. So if the parallel combination and the final, so these two are gets connected in parallel. Now you can draw this as this one. Now you see here. So this is this one. So this is J 0.25, J 0.25, and this is J 0.36, and this is J 0.115, 0.25, 0.6, and 0.115. Okay. Now these two are gets connected in parallel. So once if you find the parallel combination of these two reactances, you will get a single reactance that is connected in series with the J 0.05. Now finally, your circuit becomes like this. Now see here. So this is 1 at an angle 0 degrees, and the total equivalent reactance is J 0. J 0.2625. 2625. Now you see here, first one from the single line diagram, you can obtain this equivalent circuit. So here J 0.15, J point. So these are the equivalent reactances when we replace that standard symbols like transformer and transmission line, etc. Okay. Now from this, the second circuit can be obtained like this. So these two are gets connected in series. These two are gets connected in series, and these two becomes in parallel, and these two becomes in parallel. So when we find the parallel combination of 0.23 and 0.23, you will get 0.115. Similarly, you can also obtain the parallel combination of this one. So the next thing is, so this is a parallel combination 0.25 and 0.36. Now if you find the 0.2 parallel combination of this and plus J 0.115, obviously you will get 0.2625. Now you see here, your circuit is simplified, which consists of a single voltage source with a single reactance. Now is it possible to determine the fault current? Yes, it is possible to determine the fault current. Now what is a fault current? So fault current IF is equal to, see, please do remember that these values are entirely in terms of per units, but in your problem you are asked to determine the fault current level in amperes. That means the original value. You have to, even though you have solved your problem or even though you have converted all the values in terms of per units, but it is also very essential to represent the final value in terms of actual value. That means amperes, in terms of amperes. That is the actual value of the fault current. Please do remember. Okay. So we are always measuring the currents in amperes and voltages in volts. Okay. That is our final intention. But what is the need of per unit means? Obviously, we have seen that need of per units in the first chapter itself. So as for our convenience, we have converted all the ratings with a single common platform. So obviously, whenever we have determined that in terms of per unit, you can also express that per unit value in terms of actual values. Then only your problem will be completed. Now you see here, IF is equal to 1 at an angle 0 by V by that reactance. So J 0.2625. 2625. Okay. Now what is the value you will get? What is the value you will get? So you will get minus J 3 point minus J 3.76 per unit. Minus J 3.76 per unit. So here we have determined the fault current in terms of per units. In terms of per units. But what is the actual value? So before going to determine the actual value of the fault current, first of all, you people have to determine the base value of the current, fault current. Now what is the base value? How can we determine the base value? So IB is equal to, now KV base. Okay, IB is equal to, so power 100 MVA, we have considered MVA base 100 into 10 power 6 divided by, this is per phase, so root 3 multiplied by 132 into 10 cube. So if you determine this, you will get 437. So actual base value of the current is given by 437.38 437.38 amperes. Okay. Now, after obtaining the fault current and fault current in terms of per unit and base value in terms of amperes, now the actual value is equal to, so IF actual. So IF actual is equal to the per unit value 3.76 multiplied by 437.38. Okay. Now, one doubt is arising in your mind, that sir, what about minus J? So minus J, you have not considered that minus J. Directly you have taken 3.76. How can you consider that as a 3.7? So this can be written as 3.76 magnitude at an angle of minus 90. Is it not? So J is equal to 90 degrees. But here minus J means obviously you will get minus 90 degrees. So we need only the magnitude, not the phase angle. Okay, so we are considering only the magnitude of the fault current. So that's why I have taken only 3.76 multiplied by the base value, and now this will gives you the total rating of 1644 amperes. 1644 amperes. Okay. Now this is how you are going to calculate the total fault current of the system when the three-phase fault occurs at the receiving end. But the problem has not been completed yet. Why? Because you are asked to determine what is the amount of fault current supplied by each generator. Now here the total fault current supplied by the two generators is equal to 1644. Now what is the fault current which is shared by, what is the fault current which is shared by the two generators? So generator 1 and generator 2. Okay. Now this is the total fault current. Okay. This is different, and the fault currents which are supplied by the two generators are different. Now we shall see how those are different. Okay. Now this is completely, so we have considered the secondary side of the transformer. So that's why 132 kV we have considered the total supplied voltage. But now the generators are connected on the primary side. So obviously you have to consider that 11 kV. So on the primary side, so this is IB on secondary side. IB on secondary side. Okay. So IB on primary side, IB on primary side is given by primary. Please do remember. So what is the difference between primary side and secondary side? The voltage is different. That is only the concept. So IB is equal to, again, power P is equal, that means 100 MVA, 100 into 10 power 6 divided by root 3 multiplied by the primary side voltage 11 kV. You need to consider that one. So 10 cube, which is equals to 5248 point. See, already I have solved all these problems for your sake. So that's why directly I am writing those answers. 480, 5248.6 amperes. So this is the base voltage with respect to primary side. Now this is the base voltage with respect to the secondary side. Why? Because why we need to consider, or why we need to determine base voltage with respect to primary side? Why? Because those two generators are completely connected, okay, on the primary side of the transformer. So the fault current of the two generators are given by, so 3.76. This is also completely changed. 3.76 multiplied by 5248.6. Now you will get 1947, sorry, 19734, 19734.8 amperes. Now please consider, or please observe the difference between the fault current on the receiving end side after the double circuit line. So that is given by 1644. The total fault current is 1644. But when we consider at the generator side, obviously the fault current becomes too high. 19,734 amperes amount of current is trying to flow from the two generators. So this is the fault current shared by two generators. Now what is IG1? What is IG1? So IG1 is equal to the total fault current, multiplied by opposite branch resistance. Opposite branch is nothing but 0.38 divided by 0.25. So please try to indicate J also. So J 0.38, J 0.25, 0.25 plus J 0.38, J 0.38. Now if you determine this, obviously you will get 11,903.5 amperes. 0.5 amperes. Okay. So similarly, Ig2 is equal to IT multiplied by, so J 0.25 divided by J 0.25 plus 0.38, J 0.38. Now if you determine this, obviously you will get 7,831 amperes. So if you add Ig1 plus Ig2, obviously you should get 19,734.8 amperes. Okay, this is approximately, you will get the same answer, but this is completely with respect to primary side of the transformer. So that's why in the primary side IB is different, I fault is also different. So with this the problem has been now completed. Okay, so whatever may be the concepts we have studied, we have applied the same concepts in this problem to determine the total fault current at the receiving end side of the double circuit line, and at the same time the total fault current supplied by the two generators, okay, generator 1 and generator 2. Okay. So please try to note down these things. Now we are going to see the next problem. See, once if you understand how to solve a problem in the symmetrical fault analysis, obviously that is very easy. Okay, you can solve any problem. You can solve any problem in the symmetrical fault analysis, right? Okay. Now the next problem is, please note down. A synchronous generator of 500 K KVA by 440 volts, comma zero point 0.1 per unit, supplying supplying a passive load of 0.8 power factor lagging. Calculate initial symmetrical fault current initial three phase symmetrical three phase fault at generator terminals. Just you please go through this problem. So in the previous case, directly you have been given the system itself. But in this particular problem, just the ratings of the device has been given, and you are asked to calculate the initial three phase fault current at the, suppose if the initial three phase fault occurs at the generator terminals, you need to determine the total fault current. Okay, now this is the case. So how can you solve this? So the first of all, no circuit diagram has been given. So once if the circuit diagram has been given, obviously it is very easy also to calculate the fault currents. In the already we have seen the last class. I mean, just now we have completed one problem based on that. But in this particular case, he has not mentioned anything about this. Okay, he has not mentioned anything about this. So along with this, he has already given passive load of passive load of 400. So this is also given 400 kilowatts. passive load of, please make a note, a synchronous generator of 500 kilowatts, sorry, 500 kVA by 440 volts, zero point 0.1 per unit, supplying a passive load of 400 kilowatts, 0.8 power factor lagging, and calculate the initial three-phase symmetrical fault current. Initial three-phase symmetrical fault current. So here also one word is missing. Three-phase fault current. Please make a note here. Okay. So first of all, you need to draw a diagram here. Okay. Now a synchronous generator has been given. So a synchronous generator. So a generator, now it is supplying a passive load of, so this is our analysis. So according to the given problem, I am drawing the figure. So once if we know the figure, obviously it is very easy to solve. Now you just see whether it is correct or not. So this is a passive load. Passive load of 400 kilowatts with 0.8 power factor lagging. Is it okay? But 1.1 per unit is already given. So 0.1 per unit. So we need to add that 0.1 per unit also. So for that, again, I'm going to draw the synchronous reactance. So this is the generator reactance, which is of having 0.1. Now see here. So this is J.1, J.1. Now this is EG. Okay, EG. Now what he has given is, so initial three-phase fault at the generator terminal. So generator terminals are these one. So if you consider these two are generator terminals, fault is like this. So this is IF. Okay. So the fault occurs at the generator terminals. So the waveform, the circuit diagram is now this one. Is it okay? Is it okay? Right. Now, first of all, we need to calculate that. So this is the diagram. That's what we have obtained from the given problem itself. So first of all, we need to obtain the total load current, actual value of the load current. Now see here, how do you determine the actual value of the load current? The power. So 400 kilowatts, that means 400 multiplied by 10 cube divided by √3 voltage. What is the voltage here? 440 multiplied by 0.8. Is it not? So just you determine the value of this. So you will get 656.07. 656.07 amperes. This is the actual value. Okay. Now we are going to determine the base value. Why we need to determine the actual value and base value in order to obtain the per unit value? Why? Because already EG and the reactants have been mentioned in the per unit value. So that's why we are also going to obtain the IL in terms of per unit. So this is the actual value. Now according to the base value, what is the base MVA he has given? So base is 500 kVA base divided by root 3 multiplied by 440 volts. Please do remember. So this is 10 cube, or please 500 kVA by kV base. So this should be expressed in terms of please do remember, this should be expressed in terms of kV. So 0.44, which is equals to, again you will get the same answer, 656.07 amperes. So how can you obtain the per unit value? So IL per unit is equal to the actual value by base value. So actual value here, actual value and the base value is same. Now you will get only one at an angle of, so here the angle is also very important. So one, even though we have not considered, but the angle should be expressed. So 0.8 power factor. So cos theta is equal to 0.8 means theta is equal to cos inverse of 0.8. Obviously we'll get and lagging power factor, that too lagging. So you will get minus 37.76 degrees. So more or less the points, decimal values are different, but you please try to understand. So here IL is equal to 1 at an angle of minus 37.76 per unit. So similarly, what is the terminal voltage? So terminal voltage here, we are assuming that terminal voltage is equal to 1 per unit. Why? Because he has not given. So that's why the terminal voltage is also, we are assuming that it is 1 per unit. 1 per unit. Now how can we determine the next fault current? Now you are going to see here. So already we know from the internal voltages of a loaded synchronous machine. So actually initial symmetrical means that should be in terms of Eg double dash. So Eg double dash is equal to Vt double dash plus, or sorry, not Vt double dash, Vt plus Ig double dash multiplied by j 0.1. Is it not? So if you apply KCL in this loop, you will get Eg double dash. So this is Eg double dash is equal to terminal voltage Vt plus Ig double dash multiplied by j 0.1. Now what is Vt here? So you will have Vt is equal to 1 at an angle 0 plus Ig double dash is equal to, sorry, Ig double dash multiplied by 1 at an angle 90 degrees, 1 at an angle 90 degrees Okay, so please note down up to this point. We shall see it in the next class. Up to this point. So just Vt is equal to 1 per unit. IL is equal to that one. IL is equal to 1 at an angle 37 degrees. Okay. Please note down the problem up to this stage. Next we will continue it in the next class. Right? Do you have any any doubts regarding this? Do you have any doubts? See, already I have circulated the assignments, first assignment, and the material regarding the first theory chapter. So please download those contents from the WhatsApp. Okay, you please keep a hard copy with you, and that will be helpful. and you will get benefited. Okay, I'm not going to say that you have to practice the questions and the problems from that material. Just that material will be helpful to you while doing your preparation for the external examinations or internal examinations. Okay, only for that purpose I am giving you that material. Please try to maintain a hard copy with you, right? I think no one is having any doubts. Okay, just quit. Thank you. Have a nice day.